Mousetrap and the Lead. The tradition of laughing at powerful politicians as they enter a room began over 500 years ago, in the early 2000s. You have to keep in mind that back then we hadn't made contact with any extraterrestrial life. We were pretty naive, galactically speaking. Galactically wasn't even really a common word back then. So we made contact with the Splurg system, the Splurg civilization. After years of learning how to communicate with each other, they suddenly announced a diplomatic mission. Within a year, they were landing in Switzerland. Dignitaries from around Earth were present for the auspicious occasion, but when the Splurg came out of their ship, everyone laughed. Everyone. It was a moment in human history that can only be seen as poor form. It wasn't anyone's fault, not really. No one knew what to expect, but no one expected an intelligent and more advanced species than ourselves to look like fried eggs, sunny side up. That the hovercraft they use for transport looked like white dinner plates just made it worse. Of course, looking back from our point of view, it all seems a bit childish. We're accustomed to species from other solar systems looking different to us. But people weren't back then. So this laughter had to be explained somehow. Fortunately, the Splurg, as you know, have no concept of humor, so the excuse was never seen through by them. Someone, under pressure and on the spur of the moment, lied that laughter was the highest form of human respect. As long as the Splurg diplomats were here, everyone had to laugh whenever they, or our own leaders, entered a room. The Splurg appeared to be most gratified by this, according to the records of the event. Somehow the habit just kinda stuck. I guess this formality became associated with Earth being connected with other civilizations. A coming of age, a maturing. Some historians claim that it wasn't so much the visit of the Splurg that led humanity out of its darkest age, that it was the unintended side effect, the laughing at leaders, that began our enlightenment. Don't get me wrong, I liked Bob. He was a good guy, and pretty smart in his own way, but he really was a moron. He tried to talk me into joining him on his fool's errand. In his mind, he was offering me what he saw as an opportunity. All I could see was an opportunity to die. Bob was smart, he really was. He'd found a way to communicate with another dimension. He tried to explain it to me, how he'd done it, but it was all beyond me. I'm not as smart as Bob was, but then, I'm still alive. He excitedly told me that in this other dimension there were people. Weird-looking people, but people just like us. I didn't see that as a very good reason to become excited. If he'd told me there were people who weren't like us there, I might have been interested in going along with him. When he discovered a method to transport himself to this other dimension. Instead, I joined him for a champagne toast and threw the switch that sent him on his way. I heard the whole thing. Bob had also invented some kind of trans-dimensional radio. I think that's what he called it. The more I think about it, the more I realize that he was smarter than I could even comprehend at the time. I heard him arrive, breathless but in one piece. I heard him greet the first people he met there. He actually said, "I come in peace." I admitted I was a little envious at that moment, hearing him say those words for real, in another dimension. Then I heard him being beaten to death. I threw the switch to bring him back, but too late. Before he died, he whispered, bewildered, "Why? Why?" "Because they are people. People just like us, Bob," I replied. Bob really was a moron. Mousetrap and the Laird is supported by some to keep it free for all. For details, please see the show notes.